You know what? I didn't want to address this, but I feel that I have to because I've got to give my 6 cents here because I think this speaks to a much bigger issue and problem out there. So Raheem Sterling, again, he's after having an amazing season, his best season ever, helping City to win a league title. He is now obviously he's in the England team, but there's been a massive furor because Good Morning Britain, a pretty crap show, has said, should Sterling drop out of the England team because he has a tattoo of a gun? I believe it's an AK-47 on his right leg. Let me repeat to you, and I'm speaking to kids out here, guys, contemporary people, cool people, people who have tattoos as well. They want to consider dropping him because he has a tattoo of a gun on his right leg. So there are so many different ways to unpack this, and let me even start off with this. First of all, it's a tattoo, and him having a tattoo of a gun, how does that mean he's now promoting gun violence? I'm not even going to bring the fact of how he actually explained why he has a tattoo of a gun on his leg pertaining to how his father was actually gunned down. But he has a tattoo of a gun. It's a tattoo. Am I going to now judge someone that has a tattoo of a flaming skull or has a tattoo of 666 or a tattoo of stuff? Because there may be reasons for it. Who knows, there may even be a reason for someone that has a swastika because of their history and they want to be reminded of their dark history to remember not to go back to the kind of dark history that they had. But more times than not, anybody that has a Nazi symbol, you pretty much know who they are. But for me, I don't have tattoos, but I like guns. I don't actually like using guns in real life, but I just like watching violence films, and I like watching films with guns, and I just like the whole concept of different guns, different AK-47s, and I watch a lot of action films. So when I see people with a gun, a tattoo of a gun, maybe they're just like guns, and it just looks cool. So how is that now somehow demeaning his image? And what you're now seeing here is some sort of a character assassination, and how he has to answer for things. And the key thing here is that we've not got to be real here, and we've not got to talk about England, the society that I actually know about. So the thing about England is that it's a very classist society. And there is a big difference between the poorer people and the much richer people. I've actually been and experienced what it's like to be with the richer people, upper middle class people, and be with the poor people. Obviously, you don't want to paint everybody with one brush, that the poor people are like this and the richer people are like that. But by and large, people who I would say are poorer, lower middle class, or near middle class are a bit more grounded, a lot more genuine. Whereas the people who are middle, rich, upper class are racist, are stuck up, very conservative, and they have a very close-minded view. And you've got to bring in Harry Claim into this whole thing, because Sterling is now been asked why you have this, why you have that. There's now a debate where you have a tattoo of a gun upon you. But this is the same team and the same association that has made a player who lied about scoring a goal, only thought about himself by stealing a goal off his teammates because he wanted to be top scorer and ultimately failed to do so. That, of course, is Harry Claim. This is the same football association that wanted to get John Terry back into the team, a guy who is a racist, was proven to be a racist. There is video evidence of him being a racist, and a guy who is an adulterer who slept with a teammate's wife. So you don't character assassinate those people. You sort of try to make excuses and try to apologize for their misgivings. But has Sterling ever stolen a goal from someone else? Has Sterling ever been proven to be racist? Has Sterling ever slept with someone else's wife? It's a racial thing. It is a racial thing. And it's a racial thing based mainly on, it is a minority. Because the rich people, the privileged people, the upper middle class people, and the snobbish people in England, they're in my minority, but they're a powerful minority. These are the guys that go to Oxbridge. These are the posh speaking people. These are the very stuck up people who don't really have any kind of personality. So the poorer people, the realer people, the guys from the streets, the more genuine people who actually have a character, they form the majority, but they are not as influential as these guys who run the Sun, run the Daily Mail, and gain access to these jobs in media where they can say these kinds of things. So and even more so, doubling down upon this, because I mean, man, Devil from Football Banter Boys. He actually put out a little tweet, and he said that because again he's like fully against how their character assassination is Sterling, and he's actually really been consistent in the last few months. And he says, he doesn't even know whether he can really support the England national team. And for me, that's why I'm 100% Nigerian, 100%. I may have been born in London, but when I say to everybody, I'm 100% Nigerian. There's no aspects of me that's English. I'll always say I'm Nigerian, 100%. My character, how I am, my values, how I grow up, respect to my elders, and so forth. They're completely Nigerian. How I approach my life, my morality is Nigerian. Nothing about me is English. But I look at just a lot of black guys around here and that have fully lived in England. Because I grew up in Nigeria, and then I obviously moved around and moved to England, but I grew up in Nigeria. But I look at black guys who grew up in England, and I say that, would you support England? And do you feel English? Do you feel when you're supporting the England national team, you're really part of the England national team? Because I'll be real with you. I'll say, guys, this is real. I want to be real. Let's just be real. When I see a black guy in an England jersey, I don't feel that he's English. I really don't. Whenever I saw whether it was John Barnes, whether it was Ian Wright, Sol Campbell, Sterling, all these boys, I never really felt that they were English. My view of an English guy is a white guy. It's a white guy. But when I see Evra, Henry, and so forth, I look at them and say, no, they are French. So when I look at black guys in the French jersey, I really do feel they're more French. But when I see black guys in an England jersey, I just say, they're not really English, really, are they? So they're sort of hired guns, sort of hired guns for the national team. But I think more so is that the world is changing. This isn't the 1800s anymore. And I think the image of Harry Kane, the blonde, blue-eyed white guy, being the guy who is good and is the upstanding man of morals and who people should look up to, that propaganda doesn't work anymore. It's worked in the 1800s, works in the 1930s. In 2018, where people like Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick Lamar are really the coolest people. These are the guys that young white kids now look up to a Kendrick Lamar. Young white kids look up to a Jay-Z. Young white kids don't really look up to the royal family or to a Harry Kane or to any of these white guys. They look up to black guys now because young white guys want to be black. They want to be cool. They want to be part of hip-hop. So the agenda that you're pushing forth of Harry Kane, he's the good guy, he's the captain. He steals people's goals as well. Sterling, oh, look at this guy, he's from the street, he's a really ghetto guy, that must be his Jamaican roots with the whole gun thing, and we don't really want this gang culture in our football team. Sorry, it doesn't work. People are too smart for that. The propaganda doesn't work. It's 2018. People are far too smart. And at the end of the day, the reality is this. These are football players. They shouldn't be role models. That's where it starts. If you're a president, a politician, someone in public service, you have to have standards. These guys, they kick a ball around. Okay, they're famous. They're popular. They kick a ball around. They should not be held up to higher standards. And if I'm a parent, there's no way I'm allowing my kids to look up to these guys as role models. No way. No way. That's not how society should run. If you have a society where you're now putting pressure on football players, some of them who didn't finish school, some of these people who have been playing football since they were 8, 9 years old and didn't have full education fully, how are you now going to put these guys up as proper role models? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because these people have had totally different lives where they're not in a position to be role models because their life has revolved around kicking a ball around. That's what their life has been around. And because they've had fame so early in their life, it messes them up and they will make many mistakes. So how can these dudes be role models? So, but I think that's it. I mean, let me hear what you guys say. Let me hear your comments. But I think I just had to say that because I just think the whole Sterling thing, because it's cut deep for me because it's so wrong and so messed up. And because I know the Englishman very, very well. I know him very, very well. So I know the kind of tricks that they're doing. And I think the point to make is that, look, I've got a lot of English friends, but there is a divide. There are English people who are some of the best people you will ever meet in your life. They're some of the most sensible people, smart people, interesting people, and most humorous people you'll meet in life. But then there are other English people who are the most racist, conservative, boring, dry, stale people stuck in the 1700s that you'll ever meet. So there is the divide. And I think the minority who are the stale racist people have too much power, and there are people holding England back, because England can have an amazing football team, and it can be an amazing place, but it's been held back by this minority of racist, stale people. But the majority of people who are the guys on the streets, the real people who have mixed with other cultures, are the guys that should really be calling the shots. So yeah, man, Sterling, man, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Go and play and play a game. But I still just have that issue. As a black man with an England jersey, are you really part of that England national team?